It still goes to the point that I think we've overregulated ourselves to death, and we're seeing it, as you mentioned, at Long Beach. But we here in Canada have regulated our ports to death. We're shutting down our oil and gas industry. We're putting mining on its knees. Softwood lumber the lumber industry is hurting, and it was before COVID. But it's all because of horrible government policy that is starting this, and we're actually in the middle of it, that we're actually seeing it firsthand, the results of those bad decisions. We have Line 5 still a problem.
Yep. Well, you look at Line 5, and I was on the special committee last year, and we looked at that. I don't think Canadians understand their fate is held by a U.S. court. So whether you get propane for heating your furnace this winter is held up by a U.S. court or a U.S. decision, not a Canadian decision. And looking at a Canadian alternative, well, the NDP and Liberals won't even talk about that. They say it's not even feasible. They'd rather run 400 rail cars of oil through the border or 800 trucks across Windsor Bridge into Sarnia than actually look at maybe another pipeline that would feed into there. Or they'd rather bring in oil from another continent that's dirty oil that it actually probably puts out even more greenhouse gases, or considerably more than what you'd get out of Western Canada, rather than use our own oil. So, it just makes people shake their heads about why this government can't get their head around what makes sense and what's common sense.
So I know you're new to the role. What will you be pushing the government to do to help fix this problem, or ensure that there are presents under the tree for some Canadians, or the paper to wrap it in?
Yeah, in this role, there's the trade agreements. So we're looking at we hear the Asian deals sitting around the corner, negotiations around the corner. So we're looking forward to seeing what that mandate is for the minister on that one. When it comes to supply chains, it works not just with myself. It also have to work with Melissa Lampman, who's the transportation critic, and John Barlow, who's the ag critic, and probably other people in manufacturing, because each sector is impacted. But right now, what I need to see happen, or want to see happen, is efficiencies brought in right away so that we can actually get this stuff, break the bottleneck, get the stuff flowing as quickly as possible, get the gifts here for kids for Christmas, because let's face it, the last 2 Christmases haven't been that great. This is the first Christmas where Canadians can actually get together with their families and actually have a normal Christmas, it looks like. So let's make sure they have the gifts to give to the kids at Christmas. So let's break these log jams. And then let's look at it in a more macro sense and say, what do we need to do to become an efficient handler of goods going into the future? So what do our ports need to become efficient? And what are we going to be handling for different types of ships? They may not be diesel powered. Like I said, they may be hydrogen powered. There may be other fuels that they're using in the future. We've got to be able to handle those big ships and those types of products. So, there's a combination review that will go into transportation, and review will go into ag, getting ag products shipped out. And again, the oil and gas sector, they're shipping more and more oil by rail, and that impacts ag goods. It impacts manufacturing goods that are, basically you've got one rail car. Do you put oil in it, or do you use a different type of rail car and put Christmas gifts in it?
At the end of the line, everything we've talked about today compounds the problem why things are getting so expensive. The delays, the regulations, the rules, the problems, the fees, this is all compounding. On top of that, you have $400 billion printed out of thin air, causing a whole storm all at once to happen.